Luca loses 10k, still has copied merch, and Legal Mindset is tapped for idle EN in order to get their contracts running right. That and so much more in this episode. So by this point, a lot of people understand and know the whole Luca Kaneshiro big document that Raziel Warmonic put out. It has a lot of receipts. There's some parts that are more conjecture and more just allegations, but most of the stuff that she has there has been substantiated with the things that she put in there with actual DMs, actual photos, actual everything like that. So it's less of a allegation and more of just like, yes, this is what happened and here's the proof that I have for it. Well, it hasn't been going well for Luca from what I can tell. He has lost 10k subs. Of the most recent people that have lost subs, it's only him and Ray Muendo who have lost subs in the last week or so. And people are saying here, it's probably 10k active subscribers lost. It's a negligible moment. Of course it's negligible. That's 10k subscribers who chose to stick around through the Kurosanji and the Selen situation even, so it seems that diehard fans have limits. I keep saying they won't mind if they personally hurt someone, but if you touch their parasocial illusion, they will vanish. I didn't dive into tweet cesspool, but I was surprised there was a lot of active Lucubs coming out and expressing their disappointment towards Luca in False's comment section. So you know these people on YouTube must subscribe to Luca, and some 14-year-olds on Twitter joining the NDF bandwagon, but not an active watcher of his. Like, genuinely upset that was the nail in the coffin for these people to ditch Niji altogether. It's like Luca was their only hope and their image was shattered into pieces. I'm hoping more and more Niji boys and Niji stands become saner and open their eyes already, but this is clearly a good sign. So yeah, he lost 10k subs, at least from what I can tell. Why did Reimu lose 1k subs though? Hard to say. Could be due to the Doki reference in that one game, or due to the leak of a certain friend of hers in the past who did messed up stuff. Then again, subs have been a bit of a decline for a while now for a few members. Every Niji screw up means more heads leaving. Yeah, a friend of hers in her PL was not nice towards others. Reimu and others apologized for even associating with that friend. So that could be one of the reasons why things were going downhill for Raimuendo in this specific case. Now, of course, when it comes to Luca, 10k is a lot. 10k is a very lot. And just like Reimu lost 1k, as I mentioned before, it's a big loss for her. It's a big loss for anybody to lose any kind of subscribers, whether you're big or small. But he has lost more subscribers than I currently have, which is insane. And that's like in a day or two that he lost that much. So the Wazo Harmonic thing absolutely has affected him, and it will continue affecting him. It will continue doing damage. And I don't know how he's going to recover. He may lose more. Or it may just be the people who are angry that left, and then some people will still stay with him. We don't know until the end of this happens, whenever that is. The internet sleuths, the internet detectives, have found something else about Luca's birthday merch. If we remember correctly, remember Raziel Warmonic recently did the thing that I mentioned, the actual big Google Doc. That got taken down, but there are many copies out there that you can find if you really look for it. That one showed that she did this original 2023 Luca signature herself. She worked hard on it. She made sure it was, aesthetically pleasing. She also did the personalized, the quote-unquote personal notes that he did for his fans that which they could purchase and they could win with gachas and all that kind of stuff. So the metallic charm, the button type badges, which is the exact same thing that Nijisanji does for everybody. But here's the original Luca one, and here's a change. So they're trying to make it distinct enough. They're trying to make it distinct enough, but it still looks close. It looks very close. Like if you look at both of them, the only difference is the thickness of the lines, I think. Yeah, pretty much the only thing is the thickness of the lines. They changed the thickness of the lines. They made it more like a pen instead of like a marker. That's the only big difference. There's nothing really super distinct about this, which shows the laziness of Nijisanji, and in this case the laziness of Luca Kaneshiro. So did he get a new illegal assistant to do a signature again? Probably. Why don't they realize they got caught? That's probably why they changed things. Did he ask someone else to trace it again? But yeah, the design is still the same. The difference is the way it was signed, i.e. the strokes. I mean, the design is just effing same. They need to have something to spice it up. The new one doesn't look anywhere near as good as the previous. It looks rushed by comparison. Won't be surprised if he actually did the latest one himself, since like you said, it looks rushed. So he could have done this one, but it was most likely a trace. He doesn't have Raz to do it this time. So like others have already said, he either did it himself this time, about effing time, realized he needed to do these things himself, or he got yet another person to do it for him. We won't ever truly know, but the thought will always hang above his head and above his signed merch, with the fans questioning if he actually signed it himself this time, or he got someone else to do it. So he's screwed. His reputation is done. It's in the gutter because of Raziel Warmonic, and it's not necessarily because she was trying to be bitter. I think it's more like she was just tired of him and what the things that he did to her, supposedly the alleged gaslighting, the alleged lies, the alleged all these things that ruin the relationship, ruin the the friendship that they had. We're moving on to Idol EN, which recently debuted their Genesis gen, which is their newest Idol EN gen of VTubers. And of course, they've been doing things to try to, these two people here. They've been trying their best to be transparent and to let everyone know what's going on in their organization. You know, their pay structure, the amount that they give people, like 1,500, I think, recently per person per gen. They're letting people know with the whole Nijisanji thing that there are companies out there who are at least trying to support their staff, trying to support their talents, and trying to do something right. CEO is Avio Basin, who recently today put out that they are collaborating with Legal Mindset to enhance talent contracts. Upon completion, we will release the contract publicly and offer it to both existing and new talents. So any mistakes that they had made, any issues that they have, legally or otherwise, will be fixed with this, hopefully. And then new and existing staff can have, and talents and VTubers and such, can actually have good treatment, actually have a good contract that fits the specific area that they're in, whether it be Southeast Asia, whether it be the United States, whether it be Europe, whatever. And it's good to have an actual lawyer look at everything up and make sure that the talent contracts are good. Although, I don't know, it rings kind of weird. Just me, rings weird that they didn't already have a good lawyer to start off with. That they didn't already have somebody who can look it over and be like, yeah, this is enforceable, this isn't, this is good, this is not. It just seems strange to me that they would have to go to someone else to get that after they'd been around for a little over a year, like several years by now. It just seems odd. It's good that they're actually getting somebody to help them out, getting someone like Legal Mindset, who has had a lot of comments on things that have been happening recently. And it's interesting that they're going for him, but I'm happy that they decided to do this. I'm really happy that they decided to do this, because that's, you know, it's really good that they have an actual lawyer doing and looking at this. It's an interesting turn of events. They seem to have a decent contract already, and they were pretty open to at least what they want to offer the talents. Recent changes before Pochi left. I hope they give us comparison before and after. Yeah, the fact they're confident enough to promise to share it to public means they're confident their contracts are better, or at least fair to both sides. Pochi hasn't left though. Last I checked, she was on break for personal reasons. Yeah, she's gone. She's gone though. I might be in the minority here, but not gonna lie, I'm kind of aware of how Avio Idol CEO and his agency engage in social media. There is a certain attitude of smug whenever he shares some internal details, essentially screaming, look at us and how better we are compared to those agencies. It's PR. It's gonna happen that way. PR works that way. You have to make yourself look better than the other guy. That's just PR. Well, it's one of the many PR strategies out there, and someone said hearsay that they promised about it last year. But I know what you mean. That's why I said he play with fire. The moment when they screw up in the future, people will use a lot of their transparency PR strategy as ammo. And it's very true. If you are trying to be transparent, they can use that as ammo because they have everything that you've said in the past. Yeah, it really blew up in their face during the Riro thing. A lot of people were on their side since they thought she was just being a Menhera. But a very sizable amount of people, including Sea Dog, who hardly ignorant of these things, considering how many friends in different places he has, rightfully pointed out that they're ruining Riro's reputation without her being able to say anything back due to NDAs, kind of like what Niji did to Zaion. By the way, Kyoresu, aka Riron's PL, publicly acknowledged the fact that both her and Idol in a community post is going to re-debut on 420 because of effing course she picked that date. She also teased earlier dropping a modified cover of Internet Overdose, which you know, basically referenced her silly pills. Called me juvenile, but at this point, I'm on her side. She's not innocent, but she's based enough to be in the right. There's also the Pochi thing, something a week or two ago, and while that looked like it could really be bad, thankfully they reeled it in quickly. They've been making mistakes. Idol has been making mistakes, so hopefully the situation gets better with better counsel. If you guys know or may not have known by this point, there are many talents out there that have been testing the waters of their past life accounts. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. But there's a lot of speculation going on. There's a lot of theories going on. Some people are saying that they are testing the waters because they may be graduating soon. Some are saying that they're testing the waters just because they're testing the waters, just because they want to see if their accounts are still active for, you know, whatever part that's going on. Of course, though, I have no clue, because I'm not the one who's actually doing these things. But as you can see from what's on there, a certain person's past life account is doing some activity. They had activity maybe like a week or two ago as well, just testing. That just sounded like it was a test to see if things were going, like she actually still had access to it, if it was still active, if YouTube hadn't canceled it, that type of thing. So she said free makeup Q&A. Feel free to ask questions. So I smell a graduation on the horizon. That's what people are saying from this specific person. Good for her. She didn't deserve any of this, and with the knowledge that she considered her last shot at content creation, it's good to see that she isn't giving up. None of this was her fault. and she deserves to give it a shot under fair circumstances. Yeah, she's going to stay. If she's going to stay in the game, then it's a lot less concerned about her graduation and a lot more positive about it. I wonder if maybe she had a lot of ideas that she couldn't do as a corpo that she's excited about doing afterwards. Is it me, or does any color probably hold graduation after quarter 4? More than likely it will hold a graduation after quarter 4. I really do think it will hold a graduation after quarter 4. I hope they're offering money to keep them there until the end of the quarter, because it's pretty clear that the termination slandering is an automatic martyrdom and ascension to stardom in the indie community. Let's go for another one. She's been testing the waters a lot recently, huh? Wonder when her next 3-month notice period would start. Around now, I'd say. The auditions for Iluna were announced 4th of March, and debuts were 25th of July. Well then, I suppose that's the most likely hypothesis. At the very least, I can't come up with any other coherent reason for these posts. So people are saying that they're testing the waters. This person is testing the waters. As you can see who the person is, I'm not going to mention it. They are testing the waters in order to make sure that they have an audience, to make sure that people are still, know who they are, and maybe so that they can switch over to there if they ever have to. Again, this is just conjecture. This is just theory. This is just someone coming out with basically the small information we have and trying to make a theory out of it. As I had mentioned previously, there might be something happening soon because, other people, as mentioned here, have been renewing their past life accounts and, seeing what happened recently with Mint Phantom and dokibird and all that kind of stuff. It could be something is brewing, but they're probably going to wait until the quarter 4 report is out. After that, they can do whatever they want. They probably will. So this could be a sign of graduations, terminations, etc. Or it could just be some weird coincidences happening. That's something that we all have to decide on our own, because this is all conjecture, of course. This is not in any way, shape, or form proven. It is just people taking dots that are out there and trying to make a straight line out of it, try to make a line to graduation. That type of thing. So it could just be nothing. It could just be they're bored and they decided to go into their past life account. It could be they're trying to make sure that their past life account isn't destroyed by Google. I think after a certain amount of inactivity, YouTube/Google removes the account from their service to kind of clean up server space, etc. They let people know already, so it could be something like that. It could be that they're trying to prevent that from happening. These people down here are saying, I'd love to see it happen. Ian Branch can't collapse soon enough. And Luca needs to be terminated ASAP. Right after announcing the birthday merch, I don't know. Also, there's also the AR Live to consider. If any termination is to be served, it will be at the earliest May to June, but even then, it's not feasible since the Q4 reports will have to be presented then. That is to say, if any internal investigation happens in the first place, before considering what is the full scale of the S show, it effectively it's a managerless branch. The biggest copium, Riku linked to the Abe faction of LDP, charged for participating in corruption and gets removed from Nijisanji, forced to close down. That would be a crazy one to happen. I do know Luca won't be fired if rumors are to be believed. He is favored by a member of Nijisanji's top brass. The ironic thing is that the longer Luca stays, it reinforces the idea that there is in fact favoritism in Niji. And internal investigation, if they want to spend the dime on such meaningless endeavor, if they want someone gone, they're gone, period. They won't be spending a dime on that. Please let the mass graduation happen. I honestly don't think it'll happen because it will dip everything. Everything will go down. On Nijisanji, at least. Take your JP work environment and get it out of EN. There's a certain rat that Petra and Rosemary are graduating in May after the AR Live. It might actually turn out to be correct. Yeah, we don't know. We don't know. It's best not to do too much conjecture. It could just be, like I said, all the stuff that's happening could just be people trying to make sure that their YouTube past life accounts aren't deleted by YouTube. Because like I said, after a certain amount of inactivity, they can possibly be removed. Moving on to this one, keep going to these sisters, you'll convince them yet. Here we go. This is also on the Yahoo Finance area, the comment section, because in Japan, they have Yahoo Finance still, and it has a comment section. It's ironic that cover artist was found in court to have repeatedly slandered her husband, while fans of the cover were trying to suppress their mere opinions by saying, I'll report you for slander. That is a disingenuous statement. Russia was no longer a part of Hololive when a lot of things happened. Even if she was, cover in Hololive had nothing to do with it. It's not like Nijisanji, where they, helicopter you all the time. Luca's case is rare, and major summary sites are also compiling it. Please do your best to defend the 22F heretics. In the end, it seems no evidence of slander can be produced if it is true that a talent belonging to Hololive repeatedly slandered her husband and disclosed it. Is 22F going wild again? My favorite internet news story said about it being a hot topic overseas. My summary site talked about autograph issue 2. Let's see. Downstream, it is explained that it has been established a growth investment for fiscal 2024 will be capped at 1 trillion yen. Does that mean the summary site is true? In other words, is it true that Hololive fans were repeatedly blank? Does a scammer offer a lunchbox that is completely different from the one in the photo? Is it because there were a lot of blank at Hololive events? They're really angry. 22F-kun every day selling lunchboxes to the cover board, and he's doing his best to defend scammers and blank here. That's great. How is Momotaro, who disappeared after it was pointed out that he couldn't read the graphs in financial statements? It's too low. Oh, they're having a fight against each other pretty much. See that they're just suppressing the speech of individuals by labeling the company, their opinions, as slander. So if it's slander, the court should decide, right? Are you really acting like a judge and attacking a mere opinion as slander? What would you say to someone who forgets what they said within 5 minutes? First of all, I would appreciate your proof of whether or not this is slander or not, as cover fans often call out mere impressions as slander and reporting. This is an untrustworthy company with no compliance whatsoever. There are many people who say their mere comments are slanderous, so it is up to the court to decide whether or not it's actually slanderous, which is true. Like Hololive talent who was found by the court to have repeatedly slandered her husband. I don't think it was found by the court, maybe the court of public opinion, but not an actual court. First of all, could you please point out the discrepancies in the information and prove that it is a hoax? Also, the moderator of Kokoro, Amamiya, who was slandering Hololive and the collaborative content, seems to have admitted that he's affiliated with Nijisanji and is still working as a moderator. What are they going to do about this? It's been a week now. Are you considering apologizing for the fact that you're probably spread false rumors about Chi-chan? So yeah, these are pretty much Nijisanji stans, Nijisisters, whatever you want to call them, people who are drinking too much of the Kool-Aid and going a little too far into their parasocial relationships with their fandom. The Luca doc must have really jostled them for them to be getting this defensive and accusatory. I think 22F person is referring to Rushia, right? She let go so long ago that they still refer to as Holo talent, huh? I think so. Also mentioning at a Hololive, that blank at a Hololive event, as if Hololive is at complete fault. He keeps talking in circles or grasping at straws. Basically, this person is making like some kind of long thing about 22F. She was going before the issue of MFMF, the Mafu Mafu. It's no longer under the Rushia persona. They're just trying to connect the issue back to Hololive. Yes, they're trying to use anything to attack Hololive, which I mean, I guess they can if they want to. It's not going to work. Yes, still legendary Mr. 22F in the Yahoo Finance JP board. Stock bros are unbothered. 22F continued to poke, but all it did was get them to look at matters for verification. I'm betting they were thinking all this would stop at this work culture, except it is beyond that for some time. Not to mention it's effing with their money, even in the short term. It's hilarious. Yeah, I mean, the more that people prod, the more that it's going to go against them, I think. So this was a bad move on their end, but, you know, Niji Bro is going to be Niji Broing, I guess. Moving on to Mint. Mint Phantom, as you can tell, whether you know or not, she is a fairy that disappeared from Nijisanji and is now a ghost form. Listen to her voice. You make the judgment call on that one. So they're trying to get her to 100k. Matara-kan is trying to do the same thing, trying to get her to 100k. So hopefully we get to 100k. It says at the current rate, Mint's gonna break 100k before a return stream. Good for her. She deserves it. Person putting the links there. Let's go and make it 100k. Let's go. Maybe we can do it before her debut. That's what people are trying to do. That's what Matara-kan is trying to do. Trying to make it so that it goes before her stream. Unless it's a tease for something else. I mean, probably not, but you can imagine. Made Mint is going to be doing this. Silver play button Niji has stolen from her. We need to give it back to her. So far, almost all of the prior talents in Nijisanji EN when they're somewhere else have been able to get their stuff, have been able to get their play buttons, and I hope she gets her play button too. And like I said, this is a quick one, but 92.3k, 93k as far as I checked right now, actually 93.1, so she's almost there. Twitter people being Twitter people and Twitter artists being Twitter artists, of course they're gonna make a post about Matara putting eggs into Mint, into the ghost, because of course they will. People are interesting. Pregnant for Nani, full of eggs. Okay, interesting. I hope she doesn't see this, because then I'll have to explain how momos are born and she can't die yet. I only saw this because of you responding. So she would not have seen it at all. She would not have seen it if it had not been for Matara responding to it. So thank you, Matara, for letting her see this. Bruh, thanks, I hate it. Thanks, bruh, now I can't effing unsee it anymore. So who's the father? Matara, most likely. Hasn't been even a few days. They're surprisingly fast at cooking. How? Tell me how. I mean, it makes sense because Matara is an alien roach. Anybody remember the chest busters from alien movies? But Mint is literally a ghost. Life finds a way. As the person Malcolm, I think his name was, in Jurassic Park says, life finds a way, the chaos theory thing. And this is, of course, indeed chaos. Chaos that should stay on Twitter. So something new popped up in the Nijisanji subreddit, as I was shown by one of my viewers. Top 21 Nijisanji Superchat earners in January, all in yen. You can divide all of this by 120, just about around there, and that is what it will be in US dollars, because right now the yen is about 120 per dollar, around there. So you can divide everything by about 115 or 120 to get the full amount. Pomu Rainpuff in January, before she graduated, was pretty much the top earner. The person below that, the top earners, like from 1 to 10, mainly are Japanese, but you have a couple like Scarle Yonaguni, who did 8 million in total. January, February, and March, she stayed around 2 million yen, which is maybe around 20k, 30k, something like that. So that's still very good. Still very good. Remember, they get like, they end up getting half after the 30% that YouTube takes. So she's not actually getting 20 or 30k. She's getting a lot less than 20 or 30k. And right here, the 15 million, she made about 150k Pomu Rainpuff in January. So according to this, remember, you divide it by 100. So you take 2 decimal points off, basically, to the left. And maybe a little bit like that. So she got about 120, 130k, somewhere around there on January, which is a lot. You have Alban Knox, who has 5 million yen. Hex Haywire, 5 million yen. Dokibird Drop Site, 3 million yen. And then, you know, this is a dollar amount here. This is the actual dollar amount with the full translation, which I didn't know existed, but here we are. Here we have it. So my calculations were wrong. Here's the actual amount. Pomu Rainpuff, 99k. These other people, 79, Scarle Yonaguni, 53k. I was right in her making about 15k before the 30% cut, and then before the 50% cut after that Nijisanji takes. So 50k, 50k, 20k, Hex Haywire, 33k. This is gross. Of course, just the gross numbers before, not the net numbers after the 30% that YouTube takes. And then after that 30%, what's left over, Nijisanji gets half of that. So they probably get left with like maybe like 4 or 5k, but still, that is really good. That's still good for a month. Not bad at all. Like, I would love to have those numbers, honestly. Pomu made way more than I expected. Well, she did graduate. Khyo had a spike too. People probably throw their money at livers when they know it's their last chance to give. Khyo's numbers actually about what I expected he got. Almost 5 times that is crazy. Because, yeah, you have Khyo Kaneko, which did 23k, or 2k for the last 2 months. 2k and then 21k in February when he graduated. So he had a huge jump. Pomu and Khyo make sense. It looks like everyone had a slight dip after February, except for Aya and Fulgur, but still within acceptable limits. Like Doppio, Hex and Scarle lost noticeable numbers, though I wonder if they lost a whale or two in the February stuff. Could be that they lost a whale or two. Pomu didn't make any money for 2 months. She fell off. Exactly. Pomu didn't make any money. She fell off. What the heck happened to Pomu? Why did she fall off so badly? I don't get it, is what I would say if I was actually serious. But of course, the sarcasm. Jesus is worse than I expected. Petra and Rosemi just had their live 3D and they didn't even make the list. What happened in March for number 2? Were they the one who hosted the tournament? Number 2 was Leo's visit, and I think March was his birthday. Also checking his channel, he also did this interesting 50-kilometer walk-run marathon that lasted for 10 hours and garnered quite a lot of views. So yeah, some people have dips and ups and downs and everything. Still respectable amounts in my opinion. But yes, some of them have seen a drop, as you can tell. The drop may be seen as something good or bad. The drop may be seen as something that you'd be like, well, they're having their problems because of the whole thing that's happening with Nijisanji, of course. Of course they're going to have this problem. Of course it's going to be something that's going to drop in February because of everything that's been going on after the selen tatsuki situation. And yes, of course, it might go up soon, but still these are respectable numbers, in my opinion. These are absolutely numbers that I would truly, you know, not be shaking a stick at if I got it. But like I said before, this is all, you know, it's all left to interpretation. Some people say this is amazing. Some people say this sucks. Some people say, haha, you know, this is what you deserve. It's all up into interpretation. And I leave it up to you to interpret what you decide it's going to be. Aster is playing a FromSoft game. And from what I understand and what I've been told, you cannot monetize FromSoft games in Japan. They do not allow that to happen. They do allow things to happen like knocking on people's doors and such, but you cannot allow any kind of monetization. Yet Aster is somehow allowed to monetize his YouTube while he's playing Elden Ring. This is obviously Elden Ring during the Renala phase, it looks like. So he is getting super chats. He is getting it monetized. And it says basically, yeah, on the main sub, he didn't realize the problem was FromSoft allows streaming on their games. They allow you to stream their games, just don't monetize it, which Nijisanji is getting away with. To be fair, consider not watching and not donating is a good guideline regardless. What's currently being streamed by Niji. For some reason, I imagine that Matrix meme when Morpheus holds out the 2 pills where pill 1 is Aster didn't read, up on perms and just wants money. Or 2, Aster knows monetization of Elden Ring streams is prohibited, so he's working either towards his own graduation on Niji or more trouble or both. He may just be dumb. I just do not prescribe malice to something that can easily be explained by idiocy, easily be explained by ignorance or idiocy, I believe is the quote, something like that. So I'm not prescribing to malice. What can easily be explained by Aster's dumb. A lot of things can be explained by someone is dumb. Another potential scandal, honestly, is it because From Software doesn't know? Or, yeah, so From Software, Guidelines for Video, Section 5, it is prohibited to monetize using functions that allow direct payment of money from viewers, such as coin tipping or super chats, or to post videos limited to paid memberships registrants, such as memberships. So, they prohibit the use of videos and still images for commercial purposes. So, the commercial purposes, in this case, is you having super chats or bits or anything like that, monetization while you're doing things. A screenshot shows a $5 super chat looking through previous Elden Ring streams from Hololive talents, and they only got gifted memberships, not a single super chat. So they shut down super chats. Someone got to report this image to From Software, just realized it's from way long ago. Prohibition thingy is only applied in Japan. It's applied in Japan, which I mean to apply to streamers who reside in Japan. So he may not even get in trouble for this because it's residing in Japan. So for example, if I were to do From Software stuff like I did Armored Core 6, I did other things. I didn't monetize them because I wasn't monetized at that time. But if I had, I wouldn't get in trouble because it's in the US. And we have fair use laws. Over there in Japan, they don't have fair use laws. So everything you have to get permission from the copyright owner. And in this case, you're kind of lucky that FromSoft even allows you to play their game without paying them some kind of fee, which I think Konami and Capcom force some fees out of larger organizations like Hololive. So you're lucky if you don't get feed to death from them. So there was someone from her chat, the chat moderator, if you remember correctly, I don't know, I think it was several videos back where someone was trying to slander Hoshimachi Suisei because they were doing an Idol Master live and also doing Idol Master the gacha game. They were a actual usable character in there, and Kokoro was the person who had modded that person. The person who did it was a Pokemon VTuber in Japan, and it says right here, she addresses it during her Zatsudan earlier. Also, some people seem to be worried about what happened with my moderator. It's been long resolved already, so I'm not sure what everyone's saying. Please stop worrying. Okay, bye-bye. She was talking about the same moderator mentioned in this article who was trending last week. Again, like I said, saying that the collaboration should have never happened between Hololive and Idol Master, that they should give you an option to get rid of it and then give you gems for that, all that type of stuff. So it looks like he was terminated from being her moderator. So they just ignored it and hope that people stop talking about it. Well, I mean, that's not the worst strategy from their perspective. Better than anything EN has done where they open their mouth and make things worse. Right here. I don't think I've ever heard a more blatant lie. That's the kind of lie you see in cartoons. Though honestly, after Suisei, that's ballsy. There's tons of videos documenting her journey from being a nobody to the shining star, diamond in the rough girl we see today. To slander her takes more guts than what the human body is able to physically contain. And this person here says, it's amazing how deeply ingrained to them how just brush off topics like this. How do they even do that? So yeah, it's deeply ingrained for them to just brush off topics they're probably told by management to brush off topics like Kokoro just did. It's amazing. Let's see. Training, lots of training, of course. Started out with, okay, that's a direct quote. Went and checked the VOD, and yes, I don't speak Japanese, but the flow, cadence, and late to it, in certain terms such as moderator and bye-bye match up, not to mention the pause. I mean, how tone-deaf do you have to be? It would be one thing to not talk about it. He's just a mod, not really her responsibility. Another to condemn it would be nice, and show some of that cross-company support against slander and hate that Nijisanji and Holo promised each other. But this is the closest thing to supporting it without actually doing so. Exactly. So it is, I don't know if it's a nothing burger for people. It may just be a nothing burger, but I wanted to point it out there that she at least tried to say something about it. Again, it wasn't I fully disavow, so people are taking it one way or the other. When you're wishy-washy like this, people will go on both sides and you will be panned by both sides because you were wishy-washy about it. So not a good move. Thank you so much for watching. Comment down below as always, and my socials are down there as well. My Discord, Twitter, Twitch, all those, as well as something on your screen that you may enjoy. Have a wonderful day. Take care of yourselves and be always good. Bye-bye.